Hello? Anybody here?
All right, everybody, good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight for this Center Avenue Development Activities meeting. This is a special community meeting focused on 3 development projects along Center Avenue. My name is Felicity Williams, and I'm the Programs and Policy Manager at the Hill CDC. I'm also a Special Assistant to our President and CEO. So if you're not familiar with me, nice to virtually meet you tonight if this is your first time joining one of our virtual community meetings. Wanted to walk through our agenda for the evening. So I'm going to talk a little bit, this is as being a development activities meeting, I'm going to talk about the Hill CDC, about the RCO process, before we launch into the 3 presentations for tonight. Now with each presentation, I will briefly recap our engagement with the developer, which I'm excited to say that tonight all 3 projects have submitted and successfully scored at the DRP committee level. That is why they are coming to you tonight. They're seeking your support, your input, your scores. So I'll recap very briefly that before then they do their presentation. They will have 15 minutes of presentation followed by 15 minutes of Q&A. All right. So let me start with just a little bit of housekeeping here. So we'll take limited Q&A after each agenda item. Feel free to drop questions that you may have in the chat feature on Zoom or on Facebook Live at My Hill District, however you guys are joining us tonight. If you do want to ask your question live, please leave a note in the chat and we'll feel free to unmute yourself at the appropriate time. Before you speak, also please state whether you are a Hill District resident. So talk to you just a little bit about the Hill CDC. Again, I'm the Programs and Policy Manager and Special Assistant to our President and CEO. The Hill CDC is a place-based organization that is focused on the redevelopment and revitalization of the historic Hill District. Many of you may recognize this building to the right because it looks a lot like the building that we're in, and that's because it is. That's the building that we currently still operate out of. It has a different name at the bottom. You might be familiar with the People's Office for State Representative Jake Wheatley, who's located on the 1st floor. We're located on the 2nd and 3rd floors. And so we're really proud of our 34-year legacy and counting. Our mission, the Hill CDC, hold on one second. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little bit of feedback. I'm trying to figure out if you're not presenting, if you can mute yourself, you're not speaking, if you can mute yourself. I'm trying to find out where it's coming from. I'm sorry. Give me one second. Okay. I think we solved it. Thank you. Sorry, guys. I just want to make sure that we're all coming through clearly. Our mission, the Hill CDC works in partnership with residents and stakeholders to create, promote, and implement strategies and programs that connect people, plans, and policies to drive compelling community development opportunities here in the Greater Hill District. Our focus areas are our 3 Ps, as we call them, so people, place, and policy. But what does that mean for the work that we do every day at the Hill CDC? So on the first P for place, we do real estate development work, meaning actual physical buildings, the actual development of physical buildings, whether that be commercial core or whether that be home ownership, whether that be new construction or rehabbing historic structures. We try to preserve as much historic buildings in the neighborhood as possible. That second P which stands for people, are our economic development programs. Those are broken down into 3 categories. So our business and entrepreneurship support, our homeownership preparation, and then art and culture as an economic driver. Again, building upon the African-American cultural legacy of the Hill District. And that third P for policy is our policy and planning work. That is our promotion of equitable development, meaning we want to see reinvestment of public and private dollars coming back to the Hill District and neighborhoods like the Hill District, so low to moderate income and historically and predominantly Black communities. We do legislative advocacy at the city, county, state, and federal level to make sure that there are laws and policies in place that help us do that and promote that equitable development. And then we, of course, are engaged in neighborhood planning and a series of committees that help move development forward in the neighborhood, including along Center Avenue. About the RCO process. So many of you, this is a relatively newer process. It was established in 2018 with the Registered Community Organizations, or RCO ordinance. The city created this RCO status for community-based organizations. Those community-based organizations have responsibilities that we are to administer. It also requires developers to hold what are called development activities meetings. And a developer is required to hold one of those, or DAM for short. Again, I say, someone had a sense of humor or may have not thought this one through, because now we're all at the DAM meeting. A developer is required to hold a DAM at least 30 days prior to a public hearing for a list of qualifying reasons. Don't need to go through all of those tonight, but know that the presentations before you are here because they meet one of those qualifying reasons. For example, if they're going for review by the Planning Commission, review by the Zoning Board, review by the Historic Review Commission, etc. The Hill CDC is the RCO for the Greater Hill District, and of course, therefore, these projects are included in that geographic boundary. So then what is the DRP? Many of you all are probably much more familiar with this because it predates the RCO process. So the DRP has been in existence for about 6 years in the Hill District. It's actually been under development for about a decade in the Hill District neighborhood, been in existence for 6 years. It is 6 Hill District-based community organizations that appoint residents to review development proposals for their alignment with our Greater Hill District Master Plan, and in the case of the Lower Hill, the Community Collaboration and Implementation Plan. It is our community's unified and democratic community review process. So there's a panel of residents that I mentioned are appointed by these 6 Hill District-based organizations. You have to complete that level first to say you have technically met the bare minimum, which we say is 80%, because C's do not get degrees in the Hill District, B's do. We want to see at least 80% of your project to be in alignment with the community's vision. We want to see high quality development in the Hill District. Once they've cleared that bar, that's when they come to you all, because we can't support a project unless you all support it too. And so that's what makes this a truly democratic process, in the fact that you all each get to have a vote and give your input. And I'll talk a little bit more how you're going to do that in a second. So what we did, and just as, sorry, before I jump into that, what I wanted to also add here was that if you have not looked at the DRP website before, hilldistrict.org/DRP, feel free to please go and do so. You will see all the projects that are in the community review process, whether they've already been approved, whether they're under review, or whether they've been declined. And you will read timelines about what's happening with that project. You will see all of the documentation that they have submitted, except for financial sources and uses, because we know that can be sensitive information. So it really is your tool for that transparency and engagement to know what's happening in the neighborhood. Now, how do the RCO and the Hill District DRP work together? As I mentioned, the RCO ordinance sets requirements for RCOs, or the Registered Community-Based Organization. So we're required to establish orderly and democratic means for forming representative public input, and we're required to have a clear method for reporting to the city actions which accurately reflect the community's position. And so, since the DRP was already in existence, we just merged the two together. The DRP process, as I mentioned to you guys already had a final public community meeting where you all came to give your input. That now serves as the DAM, okay? And so again, it's important to note that all 3 of these projects have received a passing score at that DRP committee level. They have met the bare minimum technical assessment to be presented to you all. And now, as I said, they're here seeking your approval, your input, your comments, your feedback, etc. How do you do that? So when we were in person, many of you all will remember our community meeting box. You literally dropped off a paper ballot in that box. Now, of course, we're virtual, and we had hoped to be moving back to in-person meetings this fall, but I think the Delta variant is causing us obviously to rethink that, unfortunately. So we are going to be virtual for the remaining time. you will have a scorecard linked at hilldistrict.org/score, okay? So you go to that, hilldistrict.org/score. There is a orange button that will tell you, you can say, to score the projects. All 3 of the projects are in one scorecard, so you don't have to submit 3 different scorecards, but they're in 3 different sections. And you'll see each section is titled appropriately. So you'll see one for Big Tom's Barbershop, one for the New Granada Building and Offices, and one for the Rose Street Townhomes. There's also a section, because you're going to score those on a scale of 1 to 5. There's also a section after every single one of these that provides room for written commentary, because maybe you want to give more comments than just you were able to give tonight, or even than just giving a number. So we give you that opportunity as well, which will be shared with the development team. You can only fill out this scorecard if you are a Hill District resident and if you have viewed the presentations this evening as well. Okay, and your scorecard will remain open. You may want to think about it a little bit. You heard the presentation tonight, you want to think about it. The scorecards will remain open for you to give feedback until this Sunday, August 15th at midnight. And with that, I want to see if there are any preliminary questions before I jump us right into our presentations. Perfect. All right, so up first, we have Big Tom's Barbershop. So as I mentioned, I was going to give a really high level engagement with the developer. Again, because these projects have followed the community process, I don't have very much to say here. This first project is a mixed use housing and commercial project. It submitted to the DRP and has received an 85% or B, so it received above at the DRP committee level. And with that, I am going to turn it over now to the team with Thomas Boyd and Neighborhood Allies. So go ahead, if you haven't unmuted yourselves, feel free to unmute yourselves. I will move the presentation forward. Just tell me next slide and I'll be ready to go. Oh, one more point, I'm sorry. I will be, as I mentioned, timing. So I will set a 15-minute timer. Once you guys begin your presentation, I will drop in the chat as that time clicks down. So as it's at 10 minutes, 5 minutes, and then 0, I will include that information in the chat. All right? Are you guys ready? Tom, are you ready?
Yeah, I guess.
You're always ready. All right.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks for listening. And thanks for everybody, the CDC and all the groups, the DRP, for hosting us and letting us speak. But my name is Thomas Boyd Sr. I'm the owner of Big Tom's Barbershop. We've been in existence since 2005 on Center Avenue in the Hill District. I'm a lifelong resident, born and raised. And recently I started Tom 24 Development, LLC. And I'm attempting to, well, we're in exclusive negotiations with the URA to try to get the Hams building, which is a historic building and it's the main corridor of the community. And so we're just working hard, pushing, and I feel like I've got a great team to help. Like the plan is to move the barbershop into the first floor. And I just want to say that the situation now that I'm in is not a good lease situation. I want to own a piece of the community. And I feel like I've put together a great team. And far as I'll list some of the people, and I guess some of them are on here, and I guess we'll get to go through it. But along with Neighborhood Allies, I'll say that they've been tremendously helping me. And so we got Winston Design and Development, Gerard Winston, Communion, Lakeisha Bird, Engineering, Cosmos Technology, and Alan and Sharif, Reed Building Supply, and P.W. Campbell on construction, and also Consultants Neighborhood Allies. So if I don't know if Lakeisha, if you would want to come in and take over from here, please, Lakeisha. Is she on?
Yes. Hey, Tom, I'm here. I'll jump in. My name is Lakeisha Bird, Hill District resident, and a part of Thomas Boyd's design team. Just to kind of just point out some key things. The image on the screen just shows you, the bottom image just shows you existing building. I think most of our looked at it. It was very important to try to preserve as much of our existing assets as possible. And you will see that as we progress through the project, we maintain the open storefronts, both on Center Avenue and Kirkpatrick, and try to preserve that residential character above. The image at the top was just an early stage rendering that we completed to try to really communicate the value of this building and kind of what Tom's vision is. And I think maybe if we go to the next slide, we can talk a little bit more about the interior.
So this is, I'll take it from here, Lakeisha, before we go to the interior. Really just wanted to do and again, Glenn Grayson Jr., Hill District resident, and been working with Tom, and I work for Neighborhood Allies, and really excited about this project. But we wanted to make sure, to what Lakeisha's point, that we started with the why before we moved even to the design. We wanted to honor what's in the Hill District Master Plan and also what's in the Center Avenue Corridor Plan. And if you look at these 5 bullets, you can see how they reflect in what we're doing. So as Tom mentioned, we want to preserve the history of the Hill District. Hams was a former barbershop on the bottom floor and apartments on the top. We want to keep that. We're looking at 4 1-bedroom apartments of affordable housing between 50%, 80% AMI. So we want to make sure that people cannot, we just don't build it for everybody, but we want to make sure that our people in our neighborhood can stay. Promotes green and healthy environment. As you all know, on Center Avenue, parking, especially at this area, is very hard. And though we are requesting a variance for parking, we want to ensure that that space is utilized well. So there will be a walkway from Heman to Center Avenue, trees, a place where residents can actually go outside and have a space outside. And as we know, even with COVID, a space where if Tom wants to sit outside and cut hair, or if there's a vendor that wants to come and participate, that they have an opportunity to do as well. So that's what that green space will be. We have economic opportunity where, again, we want to ensure that we have NWBE and NWBDE, sorry if I'm missing the letter, participation. And again, we want to honor the legacy of the Hill District and continue. It's just really exciting what's happening now. So you can go to the next slide. I don't know if Zach's on the call. He wants to talk about this. If not, I can do it. And Felicity, I don't know what our time looks like, so let me know. So I'll just go on overall. Or Tom, do you want to do this piece?
No. All
right. So overall, the building costs about $1.8 million. COVID has hurt us a lot. If you talk to anybody that's going to be on this call, construction prices has skyrocketed. But if you also look at and go again back to the master plan and look at this type of building, we're really on line with what it was scheduled to cost anyway. Tom has been, given grants, a $50,000 grant from Neighborhood Allies and the URA for really the soft costs and making sure that the architectural drawings and things of that nature were applied. He also received another $750,000 from PFHA, and then most recently another $100,000 from the Office Partners of Block 1. And again, this money did not go to Tom's pocket. Again, this money did not go to Tom's pocket. If it wasn't for this money, this project wouldn't happen because it's going to take a lot of grants and subsidies to ensure that we get the best bang for our buck. There's one thing to have all market rate housing, but again, Tom wanted to make sure that there was affordable housing for everyone. And we're again had successful negotiations are ongoing with FMB, the URA, to figure out that final gap. I think we're there. Next slide, please.
Oh, Glenn,
all right, sorry.
Could I just add? Yeah. I just wanted to add that also the project cost reflects a prevailing wage for the workers on the site. So everybody will be getting what Pennsylvania considers a prevailing wage as opposed to the lowest possible wage you can pay. So everybody's going to get fair wages to work on this project.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go back to you, Lakeisha.
Yeah, I'll jump back in. We kind of already touched briefly on the design components. Some of the major design goals, as we already stated, was really just preserving this existing building. The exterior was pretty straightforward. There's storefronts on both Center Avenue and Kilpatrick, which we're maintaining with new storefront systems, but we're maintaining those openings and that character that we come to love regarding this building. On the ground level, the idea, one of our main goals was to increase accessibility to the ground floor level for the barbershop that was something that was really important to Big Tom, was to ensure that anyone could access this space and get their hair cut. So that was important as well. And then on the upper 2 levels above the barbershop area, I think it's the next slide, we were able to work with the existing layout to incorporate 2 one-bedroom units per floor, one fronting Center Avenue and one fronting Kirkpatrick. So and each unit does come with full bath, dining, kitchen, and each of these are one-bedroom apartments. Just to give you all a sense of where we are in the process, we submitted design documents for permitting to the city. We're currently going through some minor revisions that the city has requested, and we're anticipating the approval for the permit in early September. So just to give you a sense of where we are in the process. Next slide.
Hello, everybody. My name's Aaron Reed with Reed Building Supply. We're the general contractors on the project, and a joint venture with PW Campbell. As you can see, this is our anticipated timeline. Right now, we just had the bid due date. It was on Monday. So right now we're reviewing all the bids and going through the scopes and everything. So that'll be over the next few weeks. So we're probably trying to start next month if everything goes okay, you know what I mean? Nothing goes sideways, with a completion date with around February of 2022, and hopefully get Tom in there by March of 2022. We're taking the MWDBEs very seriously on this project. As you can see, the team already is full of a lot of MWDBEs, and we all know that that's extremely important to us and our growth as companies throughout the years, so we can feel everyone's pain. So we're taking that very seriously. The goal was 30% and 15% MWBEs and WBEs. And we're looking to exceed that. We've already had a bunch of bids coming in from a lot of MBEs right now. We've already reached out. We had an MBE maximization presentation. We had a pre-bid that had about 25 MBE contractors in it. So we're looking very, very, very strong already. And, we're looking to keep pushing that. But, along with that, we're also looking to hire a lot of minority laborers. We definitely got prevailing wage on a project. So there's definitely good opportunities to make a good wage if you can't get a contract as a business. So my contact information is right there. Anybody feel free to reach out to me for any opportunities. My cell phone is there. My email is there, and be looking forward to hearing from a lot of you.
Tom, you want to close this out?
Yeah, so thanks, guys. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate y'all. And so like I was saying, I do feel like, let me put my video back on, but I do feel like that I put together a very strong team, and I trust the people and the advice that I'm getting, and I'm putting on my developer hat here, and we're trying to push through, and hopefully with all the prayers that the project will be completed by the spring, and we'll be in there and we'll get this development started on the Hill District. And thank you for letting me present.
All right, perfect. Thank you, guys. And now we are ready to take any questions or comments. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little bit of feedback. All right, I'm going to mute everybody. If you do want to ask a question, please feel free to unmute yourself. I haven't seen any questions on Zoom in the chat or on Facebook, just FYI. So comments, questions, go ahead, community.
Hope that means they're all supporting.
I'll say we're a quiet bunch tonight. Okay, let me see. We have a comment in the chat from a Kimberly. How much money did Chris Buccini and Amachi Aka for this project? Is this from the Lower Hill redevelopment? Donate, I'm sorry, the word donate was missing.
Well, it does say on there, on the other slide about the $100,000 that was committed from that group, from the lot group. We did say that in the presentation.
Well, then we'll consider that asked and answered.
Yeah, I mean, it is on the slide. If you could go back to the slide.
Give me
Right.
1 second here. I will go back. Give me 1 second. Here you go.
Yeah, there it is right there. $100,000 grant from Office Partners, Block G1 LLC. That's how much was
Yeah,
committed.
that's a group that includes Vicini, Poland, and the Pens, and from our understanding, the bank. But we actually don't know exactly the breakout of who gave what. It was presented to us as a $100,000 grant from the group.
Thank you, Zach. We have another comment in the
We're
chat from,
thankful for that. We're very thankful for all the grants we've been receiving and all the help that we're getting, the support to get this project across the line, because it's very well needed.
yes, happy for you, Tom.
Thank you.
Which on that note, that was the other comment that came in the chat, very similar, from a different Kim Williams, who said, congratulations, Big Tom. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Any other? Kenneth Strother wrote a chat, I'm sorry, in the comment, I truly appreciate the support my brother Tom has received and the Hill CDC for their support of our culture. You're welcome, Kenneth. Happy to do so.
Thank you, Ken. Get a thumbs up. That's what Ken always does.
Oh, I'm sorry, that was from Joyce Rogers. Let me see. Joyce, all I see, I didn't see a comment yet. She might be typing, but you know. Let's
Hey,
go.
Tom, on behalf of all the business owners, man, we appreciate it. And you giving us life, man. So thank you. I just wanted to say that. You know, I said it already, but we
Yes, sir.
appreciate
What's
it.
up,
And
Chef?
thank you you gave us you put a battery on our back, bro. So thank you.
That's what's up, bro. I wish you all the success. I know you're gonna get it, brother.
Yeah, yep.
I'm sorry, I got the comment from Joyce here now. She asked, are there elevators in the building? And then I have a comment also from city planning. 1 second. Go ahead. You
I
guys can
can
answer
speak to
that.
the elevators.
Okay.
No, this is an existing building. We work with the existing infrastructure, and typically you would need an elevator once you start to introduce a 4th level. So this is a 3-story walk up, and it's accessibility on the ground level, and we are making the residential units you can age in place.
We did receive a comment, and this is just standard for development activity meetings. You have to say what triggered the development activities meeting. So what is the approval that you got, the regulatory approval that you guys are seeking about why you had to have a development activities meeting? It's just something we have to cover.
Say that one more time. So you said what approval? I guess we're
going for zoning on August 19th, zoning approval, and then we'll be submitting for lot consolidation. But with the planning commission, that date has yet to be determined, but we are going for zoning approval.
Are we good, Ose? Are we legal now? we officially said that? Okay, we were just trying to keep us legal here. Thank you. And thank you guys.
I just want to clarify that the zoning approval that we're seeking includes relief from parking requirements. We're going to have 1 handicap accessible space. We're going to have bike racks, but we are requesting that the 4 parking space requirement be reduced by 2 to reflect the fact that we have met the parking, the handicap parking requirement and the bike rack requirement.
Hey, Kenneth, your question about restaurant locations. This development does not have any restaurant locations, but actually the next presentation coming up does have some potential restaurant spaces. So I will let them talk to that in a minute. Are there any other questions we have? We have about a little over 9 minutes left of Q&A. We have a comment, I'm sorry, in the chat here from JL Snipe. So the units are ADA approved? Question mark.
Yeah, and I can speak to that. So the ground floor level, our intent is to make that ADA accessible. So because this is an existing structure by code, they encourage ADA accessibility to the maximum extent feasible. But obviously, as we know with existing structures, sometimes that's not as feasible, especially when you're thinking about egress or just ensuring fire and safety precautions. So we are going to make the barbershop fully accessible. And then the upper levels, the residential units, they will be age in place. They will not be considered ADA approved because there is no like elevator incorporated in the building, but we still are required to have like age in place type of requirements. So like fixtures and things inside the units to ensure that whomever is occupying that unit can't age in place. And this is typical of an existing structure.
Thank you, Lakeisha. Any other questions? Okay, JL Snipe put another question in the chat. Why are they all one bedroom?
You want me to take that one, Tom?
Yeah, I guess.
Sure.
Snipe that.
I can too if y'all want.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
I think. No, I mean, I think
we
there's.
did haggle about that.
Yeah, no, I think there's various answers to that. And I want to start with some of it is I think just historic preservation is would be part of it, right? Like we wanted to make sure that we could restore, but also bring it to a new tier. If you go in the building, it's cut very, it's different. From the outside, it might appear that it's just a big open space, but it's definitely different and presents a lot of challenges. And so I would say from a historical standpoint, that's one piece. And then Zach can speak from the financial standpoint as well of why we chose that.
And my computer froze, so I missed a portion of it. So if I didn't answer the full question, just let me know.
Yeah, the prior use was very similar. And, this project both requires a lot of subsidy and we're going pretty deeply affordable. And so really the most economically feasible way to approach this to get affordable units in there was to stick with the existing floor plan. And it creates a lot of economic efficiencies. And so, we looked at many other designs and concepts, and none of them really made sense from a financial standpoint or allowed us to provide the level of affordability that we wanted to provide. And so sticking with the original design was really the most economically feasible way to provide affordable housing in this space.
Thank you, Zach. I don't see any other questions in the chat. We have a little over 5 minutes left. So I'll give a pause if there's anybody that has any final questions that they want to ask. Clinetta said, congratulations, Tom, in the chat. Another congratulations.
Thanks, Clinetta. Appreciate it.
All right, well, I think on that note, hey, I'm just trying to give everybody the chance. We had a few more minutes left, so, make sure everyone has a chance to ask all their questions. All right, well, thank you, Tom. We will go ahead and next steps, you guys will add I'm sorry, we got some more congratulations coming in the chat.
Yeah, I appreciate them, man. I see knowledge. I see the other one.
I'm glad
reading
you
them.
see them coming in the
I
chat.
see them, everybody, and I appreciate it. I really do.
So
Look at Brendan.
as I mentioned, guys, you will have, if you go to hilldistrict.org/score, you will have to complete the scorecard for all 3 projects in order to submit, FYI. So, please continue to stay on the line. And that's where you will go, hilldistrict.org/score, in order to complete that scorecard for the project. And we're going to go ahead and move forward with our next presentation this evening. I believe we're pretty on track with time here. We might even be a little bit early. I don't know, but we're pretty on track. So thank you, guys. All right, I'm gonna give me 1 second. I'm gonna mute everyone else here again, and then have give me 1 second. I'm sorry. Click the wrong thing. All right. And we are up for our next presentation this evening. This is the New Granada building and offices. As I did with Big Tom's, I'm going to talk a little bit about engagement with the developer. Obviously, many of you all are aware, but if you're not, Hill CDC is the lead on this project. Everyone knows the New Granada, but just want to make sure I was clear about that on the call. It is a commercial project. It is a historic rehab plus new construction. They have also submitted to the DRP, as every project did tonight, and they received an 89% or B score at the DRP committee level. And so with that, I am going to turn the presentation over to Marimba Malines, Irvin Henderson, and Kevin Kulich from the development team. Feel free to unmute yourselves.
Thank you, Felicity. Hi, everyone. My name is Marimba Malines, President and CEO of the Hill Community Development Corporation, as Felicity said. Obviously, I am very proud to be before you all on the development side of our work to present as a part of the DRP process. This has been a true labor of love and has included all of the things that come with that, which is both joy and some pain and suffering, but we are so excited to be before you to talk about this project. Please let me invite Irvin Henderson and Kevin Krulowich to say a few words about themselves, and then I'll get into a little bit about the Hill CDC and then the project specifically. Irvin?
Thank you, Marimba, so much. It is great to be with the Hill and all of the folk who are residents. This is a great community process, and I am very glad to be able to present to you all. Just want to let you know that we are an historic preservation firm. We do a lot of multifamily as well. I have 36 years in development experience, and we are very, very fortunate to have been involved in this project since 2011. Marimba and the Hill CDC have done an incredible job bringing forth one of the most impactful projects in the country. And I would like to introduce now Kevin Krulowich, who works with my firm.
Good evening, everybody. Pleased to be here on behalf of Hill CDC, excuse the background noise. My grandson just walked into the room. I'm Kevin Krulowich with Henderson and Company. As Irvin mentioned, we're project manager and owner's consultant and representative for the New Granada project. My background is in accounting. That's where I started my professional career. Spent 11 years with Deloitte & Touche. I have been involved with historic preservation and community revitalization work around the country for the past 35 years. I'm also a licensed real estate broker and licensed general contractor in Indianapolis. We currently have projects ongoing on a consulting basis throughout the country. And I will tell you from my first visit to the Hill, and more specifically to the building, I couldn't tell you more about how impressive this opportunity is. And we look forward to presenting to you this evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Irvin and Kevin. A little bit more about members of our team. Our design team includes Milton Ogod, who has been such a stalwart team member here for many, many years, including stabilization to this moment now. And you can see he is flanked by engineering firms and other design consultants. That is followed by our pre-construction services team, Martini. Angelo Martini is the lead of that. Martini is Martini and Company, excuse me. Angelo Martini is the lead of that firm, and he is in partnership with a number of other companies such as Russell Construction, specifically Russell General Contracting, Aaron Reed, who you just heard from in the prior presentation, but we have been very fortunate to have them by our sides through our pre-construction stages. Felicity did talk a little bit about the Hill CDC as the RCO, but I'm here to talk about the Hill CDC as a developer and as specifically a community developer that is 100% focused on fulfilling the vision that the community embraced for itself. Today, you see, we are focused on the real estate development of our commercial corridor. Obviously, you know, a lot of our work is also around affordable home ownership, entrepreneurship training, policy advocacy, and so forth. But I really want to dive into this specific project, which honors the Greater Hill District Master Plan, which is thankfully currently in the process of being codified and updated by the City of Pittsburgh. And we are, you can advance the slide. And we are here to fulfill the specific center of culture within the Center Avenue Corridor Plan. You know that our plan was recognized as one of the top 10 architectural projects by AIA Pittsburgh, and it is recognized nationally as well. You know that that was a community process, and from that community process, what we know is that the Hill District has embraced its African-American cultural legacy, not just in the Greater Hill District Master Plan, but also edifying that through the intentional and thoughtful planning in the Center Avenue Plan. Next slide, Felicity. So this specifically, we are, as you know, focused on arts and entertainment, cultural legacy initiatives, innovation and entrepreneurship, and creating both a diverse and welcoming community. And you know, other communities in Pittsburgh have branded themselves in different ways. We want the Hill District to be that destination that people know that they can come get the best of anything relative to African-American culture and African-American experience here in Pittsburgh. And so we are excited that this is going to be a part of that. We are going to be catalyzing the Center of Culture, which is one of 3 proposals in the redevelopment of Center Avenue. And so this is a few blocks up from Tom's Barbershop, just for reference. Why these particular blocks? Well, when we did our Center Avenue planning, there were 2 blocks that rose to, the 2 sites that rose to the very top of the list of what the community wants to see. And you see that by the dots that fall beneath those stars. That's where we got the greatest amount of input, and that is what the community said that it wants developed. So this is what we will be moving forward on with your support. This is New Granada Square, the Center Avenue portion. If you could go back 1 slide. The Center Avenue slide includes the historic New Granada building, which we will talk about in greater detail. The New Granada apartments and retail, and it with 5,000 square feet, just under 5,000 square feet of retail on the first floor, and a new office building on the far left. Today, the focus of our presentation is what we call the New Granada commercial portion, specifically the historic building and the new office building. We have already worked with the community on the apartment building, and we'll show you what that will look like. This is the Wally Avenue side. You see parking. You see that this is right across from Ebenezer. You see the street level entrance for the historic building as well as the new office building. And you see some parking tucked under the new office building off of Dinwiddie Street. We're pointing this slide out because our prior slides had a rounded image that we have modified given some of the feedback we've gotten from regulators. I'm going to hand this over to Irvin to speak very briefly about the historic preservation process.
Yes, absolutely. So the New Granada building itself is, of course, on the historic register as a historic building, and it is one of the most important buildings in the country. So first, we had to go through the Historic Review Commission locally, and we were able to do that, and they approved this look. As you see, it is an homage, if you will, to the New Granada building itself. And then we also then went through the State Historic Preservation Office, the SHPO as we call it, and we have received our approval from them. We're now at the National Park Service, which is the last step. And historic projects are very difficult because you have all of these different regulators, and you must make your project protect the historic fabric while still being useful for today's essential needs. And in this case, that has occurred completely.
Thank you, Irvin. I'm just going to go through these really quickly. These are floor plans, Felicity. You can move through these. We just want you to know, we obviously can't get into the detail, the minute detail of every single floor, although we'd love to if time allowed. But you know, we are focused on the detail at every level at this stage of the project. So the New Granada Apartments that I talked about earlier has completed the DRP process. It was scored, and it is a community approved project. So we're excited. Then you will notice that on Center Avenue, that is endorsed and under construction already. Why is that important to this project? Well, because we're very intentional about pairing local talent, and specifically in this case, we have worked with Miss Charlotte Kaw. You can go forward one slide. Miss Charlotte Kaw to help us to design the facade of the building with our architectural team. And so we're extremely proud of that intentional work that we do to make sure that community members are involved at every stage. We are also very proud of, next slide, our MBE participation, both goals and numbers to date relative to the new construction of the apartment building. So 40% MBE on hard construction, 15% WB on hard construction, and we have that same goal, if not higher, for the New Granada commercial portions of the project. You will see here some flyers that we have already been distributing throughout the community. We've had a couple of pre-bid meetings to make sure that we are really cultivating this opportunity and clarifying where MBEs can participate from the very beginning of the project. We are also working with our food businesses because there is going to be considerable opportunity for our food businesses to participate in the commercial portion of New Granada, of the New Granada commercial development. And so we will have a food hall. We'll talk a little bit more about that. And so we have been working on both the programming side and the construction side to maximize MBE participation. This project meets 4 specific and critical goals: arts and culture, historic preservation, social equity, and economic development. And we're going to talk about those in greater detail as we move through. Irvin, if you could, we have a 5-minute time check here, but if you could just talk about the historic New Granada building's national significance, that would be excellent.
The New Granada building is one of the most important national treasures and has been designated as such by the National Trust for Historic Preservation. It is a great example of new urbanism. This entire project is a catalyst for the redevelopment of the African American cultural heritage community. And we've received an African American Cultural Heritage Action Grant. As we look at this overall development, we realize that communities like Birmingham, communities like Memphis, communities like Detroit are using the Hill District Master Plan as a template for how they will redevelop their communities. So as you are used to, the Hill community leads, and Marimba and the Hill District CDC are on the hearts and minds of many community developers around the country. They're pulling for our success. They're pulling for your success as the Hill.
Thank you, Irvin. So what's going to be in the building? I know we got to get through this quickly. So on the first floor of the historic building, we're going to have a food hall celebrating foods of the African diaspora. So that's Creole food, that's soul food, that's a Caribbean food, right? That's definitely Kenny Struthers type food. Shout out to Kenny, whose food I am still dying to try. But point of the matter is there's going to be a food hall with opportunities for food businesses throughout the community to participate. There will be a small black box theater, so the community members have access to the space in the historic building. That is so critically important that community members can participate by utilizing the building. What's going to happen on the second floor? On the second floor, we will have flexible event space for performances, for corporate events, for TED Talks, for business conferences, for large scale weddings. It will be able to host over 900 attendees. And so that is so important to us because it allows us to balance both national and local acts. And it will also foster a 16-hour economy in the Hill District. Why is that important? Because we need a 24-hour economy here. We need for us to be able to support our small businesses during the day, but also at night, as well as the job opportunities that will be created. On the third floor, we are fortunate to have a partnership, an anchor tenant in the University of Pittsburgh through their Community Engagement Center, who will take 20,000 square feet across both buildings that we talked about, the historic building and the newly constructed building. So what will be in the Community Engagement Center? A Center for African American Poetry and Poetics, a jazz center, their Institute for Entrepreneurial Excellence, a STEAM program that really promotes inclusion of and access to technology and digital inclusion in general, lecture spaces. In the new office building, we will have additional space for entrepreneurs. We are really passionate about innovation in particular, and we are looking forward to bringing that space online. The University of Pittsburgh, again, will have a 10,000 square foot space in that building. And of course, last but certainly not least, there will be a multi-genre music cafe that is the premier food restaurant on the corridor. On the rooftop, we will have a beautiful venue that will have a kitchen and vistas that are very rare to just about anyone else in the city. And so we are super excited to be bringing some outdoor space to a city that does not have enough. For parking, we will have 280 spaces for this parking. You can see the breakdown of how that is allocated. We have, of course, been working with city planning on that. You can move forward, Felicity. And specifically, these are the sites. We have not just the parking at the site, but we are also looking at a district-wide solution with other potential parking on the site, including the Lower Hill District and other developments nearby. Team members and partners, you can see a broad mix of development partners, university and institutional partners, philanthropists, the Pittsburgh Penguins because of the Lower Hill District and the parking needs there. So we are just so excited to have the local partners in our government, URA and county, and of course, DCED, so and the city of Pittsburgh, of course. So we are just, thrilled with our partnerships. I know we're running out of time here, so we're going to wrap up with our timeline, which is the renovation of the historic New Granada building, which begins Q2 2021. The construction of New Granada offices begins Q3 2021, and complete renovation of historic New Granada building is Q1 2022. And complete construction of New Granada offices is Q4 2022 with grand opening in Q4 2022. So we will stop here. We do have a video for other members of our Main Street to speak for us, but in lieu of our time, we want to honor the process. We will make sure that you have access to that link where you can look at it on your own. Thank you very much, Felicity.
All right, thank you very much. Remember, you can feel free to drop the link to the video in the chat for anybody that wants to watch it as well. And we are going to open it up for Q&A. Give me 1 second here so I can reset my timer. All right, we're ready. I don't have any questions in the chat. I'm going to check Facebook while I'm waiting. Are there any questions for folks who want to unmute themselves and ask a question?
This is Derek. I don't have a question, but I have a comment. I just want to say, as a fellow developer, I know you all have been working on this project for quite some time. This is very exciting. I just want to say congratulations. It's so exciting to see this project coming to fruition, and I look forward to coming out to events and supporting it. So just kudos and congratulations.
Thank you so much, Derek. We really appreciate that.
And I have the same request from OSA in a second, from City Planning to talk about what triggered the development activity meeting. Before that, though, we did get another comment in the chat. Where is parking near the building? Martin Raffanon asked that question, so I can go back in the slide 1 second, and then we'll do the question of what triggered the development activities meeting.
Yeah, Felicity, if you want to show that the one geographic slide that shows the relationship. So we have parking needs not only for the building, but recognizing the catalytic nature of this project for the Hill District and the city as a whole. We're really trying to look comprehensively as parking, not only for our uses, but for all of the uses that will be triggered by the activity along Center Avenue. So we have provided for parking on site. We have structured parking and parking for the apartments, which you saw in previous slides. We're currently looking at another parking option to enhance parking at that location. We have parking provided within the new office building, portion of that ground floor and first floor area off of De Villiers will be accessible parking for tenants and patrons of the building. We are looking to partner with other neighbors who have existing excess parking. So Ebenezer Baptist Church immediately behind us on Wiley, as well as some of the other community locations as identified here. We understand the nature and challenges that parking faces for all of the Hill District, and we are being very sensitive and intentional about our process and welcome as much input from the community in terms of meeting the greater parking needs.
And specifically, let me jump in just to illuminate that the CDC has been advocating for a district-wide parking solution for the Hill District for the past several years. We are 100% committed as the CDC to bring a broader parking solution to ensure that our community can be developed. And so as a part of the planning processes that are happening now, we are in deep conversations with DOMI. They are a part of the Center Avenue redevelopment redevelopment task force that the Hill CDC convenes on a monthly basis. And so we have been able to get some progress on that front, and we are looking forward to hopefully getting some capital investment from our local government as well to advance that effort. And last but not least, some of you may not have noticed that in the prior slide there's limited parking underneath the new office building on the De Villiers Street side. So you can see that little entrance between the trees. And then of course we, as I mentioned, have parking behind the apartments, and we are again working on a increased parking solution even on the site, not to mention some of the needs for the rest of the district.
Alrighty, thank you. And then now we'll go to City Planning's question. So what triggered this development activities meeting? And I'll move forward while you guys are talking about that.
Absolutely. So I'm gonna bring Ray Bowman in from our team to respond to that question specifically.
Yeah, real estate coordinator for the Hill CDC. It's the zoning approval that triggered the DAM.
Ray, can you mention what the specific zoning approval is for, please?
Yeah, we submitted the New Granada feeder to get through the zoning process, and as part of that, that's what triggered the DAM.
Are we legal, OSA? I can't hear you. You might be muted.
She gave thumbs up.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't see you. Thanks. Just making sure we cover all our bases. All right. Any other questions, comments? And thank you, Derek, for the comments that you made earlier.
I was gonna say, I know we talked about this in the mobilization plan. Sorry for the background noise. I know in the past we've worked with a couple of groups that I've worked with in the hotel industry and also in the restaurant industry with Lyft and Uber to kind of offset if there's a partner parking garage nearby. People can go there, and it could be either a place where, since Pitt is an anchor tenant, I wouldn't mind asking them about their shuttle services. Same thing with Duquesne and all that other stuff, what they do. But also Lyft and Uber is always a good opportunity to actually get that, so people get codes to make it to different events there, so it doesn't, you know, hurt us residents. But that was just a suggestion or a comment. I know I said it before.
Hello? I'm sorry.
I wasn't, thanks, Claudia, for your comments. I'm not sure I caught the question. I just want to be sure that I'm catching the question.
Sorry, I'm having trouble. It's okay, I'm gonna type it.
Okay, well, if you want to type it in, yeah, that'd be fine.
And then in the meantime, I'm going to go to some of our other questions here in the chat while Claudia is typing that. All right, let me read this. Historic, and this is from Ikihana. I really am sorry if I mispronounced the last part of your name, so I'll stick with Ikihana. I apologize. Historically, this building was run sufficiently independent from corporate influence. My concern is that the University of Pittsburgh presence doesn't give the community a chance to have ownership, business ownership opportunities. Will the rental fees be affordable for the community to use? Will this turn into a space that will turn community into window watchers?
I love that question so much for so many reasons, but I'm going to start here. As a part of the community master plan, the Hill District community embraced a concept called community ownership. And the Hill CDC has advocated fiercely for community ownership in as much of the development that can happen in our community as possible. And here's why. Because at the end of the day, a for-profit developer has to tend to their bottom line, right? They just have to. It's essential. It doesn't mean that they're not community minded. It doesn't mean that they don't want what's in the best interest of the community, but it means that they absolutely have to prioritize the profit of their business over some other things. And so we have been fiercely protective of ensuring community ownership of charitable organizations that are mission driven. Now, it doesn't mean that we don't have a sound business plan. It doesn't mean that we can take to the bank a poorly structured deal. It just means that we are much more focused on protecting the interests of the community over the long haul. And so with that in mind, you should know 100% that Pitt is a tenant in this structure. This project is not owned by Pitt, they are a tenant. And it is their tenancy that is allowing the project to move forward because of the capital investment that they are making to anchor the project. And so it is a situation where, as I mentioned, they are going to occupy some of the space. They are not going to occupy all of the space. But even the space that they are occupying is a community engagement center with the programming that we talked about. The Hill CDC will continue to be in the ownership role of the theater project and the new office building. And so thank you for that question. I think it's a really important one. And that is our commitment, that there is accessible space for our businesses, our food businesses, our community members, that the Community Engagement Center is responsive to the community, which they have done an exemplary job at doing so far, and that the office space is accessible as well. And that's not just on this portion of the project, but also in the apartment buildings that are coming forward with the affordable apartments and the commercial space on the first floor. But thank you so much for that question.
And Marimba, there was also a question within that asking about other spaces. It's really important to make sure everybody knows there's still retail space that we can get for you if you're interested. There's still restaurant space that we can get for you if you're interested. There's still office space that we can get for you if you're interested. And when we're doing the larger events, we will have the shuttle services that people have been talking about. We'll do the coupons with Uber and Lyft, and we'll even be doing valet parking to some of the more remote parking areas. They're still close, but you'll be able to catch a shuttle and be able to get valet parking done as well, because all of the concerns that were mentioned are concerns for us. But the opportunities are there. If you're interested in any kind of space, I put the phone number for the CDC in the chat. If you're interested in space, contact us and we'll work with you.
Thank you, Irvin.
We have another question here in the chat from Enon Baptist Church. Will the city place parking meters or will the street parking have free parking? And then I'm gonna circle back to Claudia.
Yeah, great question. We are not in control of, the city's decision or on whether or not they will place parking meters. We have to date not encouraged the placement of parking meters just because we think that that can be a disincentive at this stage to bring businesses, particularly small businesses, to the neighborhood. They will, at a point in the future, make, calls on parking meters on an ongoing basis, but it is certainly not something that we have promoted, nor do we intend to.
All right. And then the next in the chat was circling back to Claudia, which I think Urban kind of answered, but just want to touch on it for a second here. And then I have Curtis, his hand is raised, so you will be next in the queue. Claudia said, have we tapped into resources like PIT to leverage shuttle services, Lyft and Uber for coupon codes to decrease congestion and issues for us residents, which I think, Irvin, you answered.
Yeah, the answer is absolutely yes to all of that.
All right, and then Curtis, you have your hand raised. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Okay, well, first and foremost, thank you guys so much for having this meeting and bringing all the wonderful people in the community together. For those who don't know me, my name is Curtis Drain. I'm the owner and operator of Flavor's Famous Street Food. And you guys spoke on some type of timeline of restaurants who want to participate. Felicity, I know we spoke a couple of weeks ago about some sort of timeline, but now that this conversation have come out of its infancy, and it looks like you guys are homing down on dates now. Have you guys come up with any dates where, like the more advanced sit downs of moving the restaurant part of this forward? Have any dates have been solidified yet?
I can answer that question, Curtis. Hi, how are you? Good to see you.
Hey, how you doing? Good to see
Curtis
you
is
too.
one of the food businesses that attended our food business walkthrough, our quote unquote VIP reception to promote the spaces that are coming online. So I want to say this, we are in the process right now of finalizing the last things on the business end to reach out to businesses to lock down those who attended those events. We've gotten a couple of folks to outreach this week. You are at the top of our list, Curtis, obviously, because you have been consistently engaging us. So I assure you, when that outreach formally happens from a tenanting standpoint, that you are at the top of the list and we will absolutely be in touch.
Well, I'm ready.
We know, we're clear, and we're excited about it. We're excited about it.
So am I.
I do want to say, and this is not exactly related to Curtis's comment, but it just reminds me, and it goes back to the earlier comment about affordable space. This is a $60 million development that is happening for this entire block, right? So between the apartments, and the commercial project, this is a $60 million project. It takes a long time to put together that kind of capital, particularly in a community like the Hill District. And because that the project is of such considerable scale, we have had to work overtime to make sure that we can ensure community ownership and participation over the long haul. And so we have been very fortunate to have some commitments from the local foundation community and some commitments from residents. We are launching a capital campaign, but that is what is going to ensure the affordability of spaces for our small businesses and ongoing community ownership over the long haul. So I just want to point that out because sometimes that gets missed, but it's such an important part of how we can even participate and do a project at this scale.
Alrighty, thank you, Marimba. And we have another question here in the chat from Allegra. Allegra, I just wanted to mention that this particular project that we're looking at tonight is the commercial portion. The housing portion, as you guys know, is already under construction. That one has already been approved, but I'm sure Marimba will be happy to answer this question as well. Anyway, and trust me, we've been receiving lots of inquiries. Folks are excited, they want to move in. When will housing applications be available for residents in the community?
I'm actually going to hand that over to Michelle Watson from our team. I think Michelle is on. She may have had to log off. So Michelle, are you there?
Sorry, I'm here. Can you repeat the question?
Hey, Michelle,
Sure.
we had a question from Allegra. When will housing applications be available for residents in the community?
Okay, yeah, housing applications, and are you referring to the New Granada Apartments?
Yes.
Okay, they will be, pre-applications will be available this fall. And then the actual applications will be available early next year.
And when, Michelle, are the units anticipated to be completed construction and then ready for move-in?
They'll be ready for, construction completion is going to be around October 15th-ish, 2022. So, I mean, essentially, we plan to move people in right away.
All right. Thank you. All right. We have another comment here in the chat. Give me 1 second. Okay, we have 2 more comments in the chat. Claudia, can we start now with the neighborhood beautification process for the surrounding area residents and orgs and businesses together? Will the CDC increase capacity? You're working very hard and we'll need to have a bigger team for post-development, property management, maintenance, etc.
Claudia, can you go to our next foundation meetings with us so that we can get additional capital for capacity? No, in all seriousness, you're absolutely right. It's one of our focus areas. We have, worked hard over the years to grow. As you know, growing a business, even if it's a nonprofit business, it takes time. And so, yes, we do plan to increase capacity, and we will accelerate that as quickly as possible. And some of that means that the development has to happen. So will we stand up, in the answer to your question, let me scroll up here. I want to be sure I'm getting specific on your question. Beautification. Listen, we are here for beautification. There's constantly trash being thrown on the streets. We are not there yet where we have the capacity to, kind of do that every day, cleanup. We do think that there's a community conversation that needs to happen, and we think that the city needs to be involved with everything from streetscaping to ongoing beautification. And so I can't make that commitment tonight, just because of the realities of the capacity and growth that's before us as an organization. But I can tell you that it is a priority.
All right. And then next question here is from Ikihana again. How long is Pitt a tenant? Please address the affordability of the rental space. Are grants available to support marginalized people? What about people who were raised on the Hill and family roots remain on the Hill? Lots of people were priced out of their homes based on gentrification.
Absolutely. So as a Hill District resident, born and raised, I can tell you that I completely relate to that. And it is why we have been so, again, intentional about making sure that we maintain community ownership so that we can have long-term influence over what happens on the project. So let me be specific. Pitt has a commitment for 10 years with the option to renew for another 10. This is very important as an anchor tenant. They are going to, locate on the top floor of both the historic building as well as the new building. So you need an anchor in order to make sure that everything else can work. Yes, the food spaces that we have available in the historic building start at $400 per month. So it doesn't get much more affordable than that. We have additional spaces on the corridor that will also be affordable and accessible. There are spaces that are premier spaces, right? Like the multi-level food business that will be a premier restaurant, not just in the Hill District, but in the region. That space obviously will cost more. We will need another anchor for that. In terms of the office space, best case scenario, we would be able to provide a range of rent based on the business's capacity. But irrespective of that, we have additional office spaces in the neighborhood that are completely accessible, including our business incubator here in our office on our 3rd floor, where you can access space for as little as $75 per month.
Next question. To a non-resident, no, I'm sorry, non-restaurant owner, how would there be space and what would be the cost or rent?
Right. So going back to my comment about the incubator space that the Hill CDC has in its own building, which, you know, comes with some conferencing space, a desk. So that's more like co-working space. There is space in the Hill House building that can be leased. The Blakey building, when the University of Pittsburgh's Community Engagement Center moves into the historic New Granada building, that space will become available to interested parties. There are a number of individual spaces, again, within the Hill House building. And so if you're not a food business, but you have a retail business, you can locate in the in the apartment and retail development along Center Avenue. So there are a broad range. If you are interested in specifics, please sign up for HD Rising, which is our commercial registry. So people who have businesses who want to locate here, please sign up. We are actively seeking your partnership. And Felicity just put that in the chat. Thank you very much, where you can sign up and put your needs and so that we can be responsive to them.
All right. Thank you, Ikehana. She said, thank you so much for providing this platform and transparency. Much gratitude. And apparently Ikehana is a Spartan, so.
Listen, any Spartan is all right with me.
Okay, let me see, I have a couple more questions here, so let me go in order. Joyce, yes. Thank you for putting this meeting on Zoom. You're welcome, Joyce. Next, we have a question from Kimberly. What type of ownership can Hill residents have in the New Granada Apartments and Theater?
So in the New Granada commercial building, the ownership is through the nonprofit CDC, which is the Hill CDC. But the utilization of the funding that we have received is bringing down and making the rents accessible. So whereas, for example, in the Lower Hill District, the rents are approximately $35 to $40 per square foot, you'll see a dramatic reduction because of the community ownership brought to the project in the New Granada and in the New Granada Apartments. So that would be the direct answer to that.
All right. Any other questions, comments? Because we are out of our 15-minute time, but I let you all continue to go because we had some more questions in the chat. I know we always want to make sure we get questions answered. Let me check Facebook really quickly, just to make sure we don't have any comments or questions there. No, we do not. All right. We are running right on time. Actually, we're a few minutes early because I've been, I run a tight ship. I try to keep you all moving, but share as much information as possible. All right. So I guess if there aren't any final questions or comments, we will go ahead and move to our final presentation this evening. Let me see one second. One thing. Thank you, Irvin. Irvin wrote a nice comment in the chat here that the Hill CDC under Marimba's leadership will complete a national treasure with this development. They are doing a great job. Thank you, Irvin. And then Kevin wrote one as well. Thank you. I appreciate it. We did our Q&A. We're going to move into our final presentation for the evening. So they've been very.
Can I just say thank you really quickly?
Sure.
Thank you, everyone who attended this meeting. Thank you for your support. We are asking for your vote at the highest level. We are very proud of this project. We hope you are proud of this project, and we do ask for your support. Thank you very much.
All right. Moving forward to the next presentation, our final presentation this evening. They have been extremely patient, so we thank them for that. But I promised them I would keep us on schedule, and we are. So I'm going to go ahead and just run through very briefly again what the engagement has been. So this is a mixed income housing for sale project. I should say for sale homeownership project. There is market rate and affordable. That's what the mixed income means. They have submitted to the DRP and they received an 83% or a B score at the DRP committee. So again, I'm going to bring that team up. They can feel free to unmute themselves. Don't forget www.hilldistrict.org/score. I'm going to keep saying that. And I'm going to put it in the chat again at some point for you guys to go in and submit your scorecards for all 3 of these projects. So Stefan, I think you and is Justin on the call as well? I don't know if I saw any others.
Yes, he is.
Perfect. You're up.
Well, thank you, Felicity, and thank you to everyone for attending this meeting tonight. It's definitely an honor and a privilege to be able to present what we affectionately call 21 Rose in the 2100 block of Rose Street at the corner of Rose and Elmore. As Felicity mentioned, this project has been through the first round of DRP evaluation, and we are humbly seeking your approval through this second round. And we look forward to taking you through an engaging presentation and presenting to you what we feel is one of the many catalytic projects that's happening in the Hill District. I'll quickly give you a bit of background about myself. Again, I am Stefan Johnson. I'm actually the co-founder and CEO of R. Kendall Development Group. But for the purposes of this particular development project, we formed another entity called Rose Street Ventures LP. I am the majority shareholder in both organizations. But a little bit about me and the company. We are a MBE owned and operated real estate and development property management firm. And our true core focus is revitalizing the urban core. And by that, many of our projects have been urban infill projects and really in neighborhoods or in areas that are defined as urban transitional, those neighborhoods that are transitioning back to economic renaissance, economic viability, and in some cases, rebranding. Our role as a developer is really to bring together a dynamic team that includes multidisciplinary expertise in the areas of architecture, engineering, construction, interior design, the list goes on. So we will be facilitating and working with a number of different industry profiles that fall into those umbrellas. On the call with me tonight is my development partner. This is a new partnership that we've decided to form for this project. Justin Belton represents the Pittsburgh Housing Development Corporation, and I'll let Justin say a couple of quick things.
Hey everyone, thanks for having me tonight. Like Stefan said, my name is Justin Belton, and I'm a member of the Hill Stabilization Committee and an employee of the Pittsburgh Housing Development Corporation. So for those of you who aren't familiar with the PHDC, we're the nonprofit housing development affiliate of the URA. We've been around since the mid-90s and focus on the development of affordable for-sale housing, mostly through rehabs of blighted property and through some new construction and partnerships like the one that we're going to bring to you today. Since our inception, we've created over 300 units of housing throughout the city and are continuing to grow that number exponentially. So for this project here, as I mentioned, we focus mostly on rehabs, but there's a lot of new construction happening throughout the city, and we want to ensure that there's a component of affordability in new construction developments throughout the city and Hill District and other neighborhoods. So we've been partnering with for-profit developers to be the entity that applies for grants and different financing packages through the state, local foundations, and other organizations, so we can help bring down that cost of what it costs to build a new building, new unit of housing versus what a person making, say, 80% of the area median income or lower is able to pay for that. So we've been working tirelessly over the past I'd say 6 to 8 months in identifying grant sources, and we've recently secured a little over $200,000 from Department of Community and Economic Development for this project through the Keystone Communities Grant. We've had some support from Neighborhood Allies, who I see have representation on this call here, and we also have some support from the URA. So we've gone through the first few phases here and have got some feedback and have taken that feedback and helped refine this this project, and we're bringing a refined project to you that we think is going to be a real benefit to the community and helping contribute to the growth of the community and provide an opportunity for growth for low to moderate income individuals and families.
Thank you, Justin, for that overview really quickly. So let's briefly talk about the opportunity that we saw here. We saw this as an opportunity to really create inspirational ownership opportunities. Again, this is a ownership project, and this is not a rental program. So we wanted to align to the Greater Hill District Master Plan and really help to create those ownership opportunities for African Americans. And this is largely personal to me. I am not a longtime Pittsburgh resident. However, when I did relocate to Pittsburgh many years ago, I essentially was looking for to be connected to the African American epicenter of Pittsburgh, which is obviously the Hill District. But there weren't a number of diverse housing options available at the time. And so, like many African American professionals who relocate to the area, we were sourced out to the suburbs, Cranberry Township and Shadyside and those types of areas. And so when I was inspired to participate in this project, this really hit home for me because as new African Americans are looking to relocate to the area, it would be absolute essential to be able to attract them to areas like the Hill District instead of saying, hey, go out to Gibsonia, Truesdale and places like that to find high quality housing options. But you're away from the actual thread of the African American community by being out in those parts of town. So I found this in pursuit of this project, I really wanted to give that option or bring that option to the Hill District and help support many of the other initiatives that were going on there. We also saw this as an opportunity to really build on the uniqueness of the neighborhood while connecting the dots to all of the development happening in and around the city. Obviously, the Lower Hill District development, all of the things happening there, things happening in Oakland and all of the surrounding neighborhoods. Many of those exciting opportunities can and should be provided in areas like the Hill District. So we saw this as one of the many opportunities to help support those types of initiatives. Partnering with the community to help revive the brand of the Hill District, right? As I think Ms. Millions talked about in her presentation, every other neighborhood in Pittsburgh has a specific type of brand associated with it. And why can't the Hill have a brand that speaks to high quality home options and affordability as well? So we wanted to bring this opportunity forward to be able to support that type of initiative. And lastly, to change the narrative of disinvestment in the Hill. We all know of the story of how the Hill has been redlined and disinvestment has happened in epic proportions to really blight the Hill to what it had been many, many years ago. So we're looking to help change that narrative by launching a project like this. Next slide. So a little bit about next slide. Oh, okay. So about the project really quickly, we're proposing 6 new construction mixed income homes at the corner of Rose and Elmore Street. As Justin talked about, this is a public-private development partnership that has been formed with the PHDC primarily helping in the development, financing, and construction of the affordable homes for residents whose income meet 80% AMI. We really want to have this project culturally connect in with the Hill District and all of the some of its historical promise. We offered, and I think in our first committee meeting for the DRP process, a number of different ways that we can do that by partnering with an African-American artist to do designs on the exterior of the facade of the buildings. We're looking at Afrocentric front doors on each home, mosaic front door collages of famous Hill District musicians or artists. But I also wanted to expand that a little bit more now that I have a greater access to more community members and really ask, what are some ways that you can think of that we can have a stronger cultural connection for this project? Feel free to leave that in the comments or the scorecard on how you see this project forming a stronger cultural connection to the Hill District. Some of the project goals were really to attract and provide ownership opportunities. And again, this was from the onset of this project. We did not want to launch this project as a rental program. We want to give current Hill District or new Hill District residents an opportunity to really build on economic equity and own this asset and not have to perform a month-to-month or rental type situation. But really to help underscore and support a lot of the efforts going on Center Avenue, right? When we were looking at different project sites, we did not specifically want to be on Center Avenue because we want that to remain as the commercial corridor and the retail corridor for the area. So we're happy to be 2 blocks off of Center Avenue to launch this this very walkable project to Center Avenue. Next slide. So project scope really quickly. This will be again a new mixed income family friendly housing opportunity. We're acquiring 5 URA owned parcels. We're then going to subdivide one of those parcels to be able to provide a 6th home. We're going to launch a local pre-sales campaign in support of such initiatives as the Hill District 100. We're going to launch ads in the Soul Pit, as well as the African American Courier, and a number of different initiatives that are available for the current residents to be able to peruse and be a part of this particular initiative. Other parts of the home project, we're obviously going to have significant MWBE involvement. We'll talk about that in a later slide as well. This home project will really be geared to maximize the views of the Lower Hill District and Center Avenue. The project sits directly behind the Thelma Lovett YMCA, YWCA, excuse me, and will essentially be leveraged to overlook a lot of Center Avenue and have views into downtown as well. Some of the other components of the project will be an open floor plan, 9-foot ceilings, and modern appointments that you would expect and anticipate in a luxury type of development. And each home will have off-street parking, front parking pads, and have a rear fenced-in yard as well. We are working with PWSA to have a very robust stormwater management plan, and we have a number of green initiatives initiated in this project. Next slide. So that's just an overview of the project site at a high level from Google Maps. If we go to the next slide, you can take a quick look at what we currently look like as a project site. We are literally, again, right behind the Thelma Lovett Center, overlooking Center Avenue, and across the street from the LMA Hillman Support Center, Resident Support Center. Next slide. So a quick look at the proposed site plan. Again, 6 units, 3-on-3. There will be a bit of space in between each row of homes, and the affordable units will actually be on the interior of the 6 units. So on each 3 blocks, the affordable homes will be snug right in between those. Next slide. I know we're short on time, so I'll go through this. Here's the proposed elevation. We've probably gone through 4 iterations of a design changes to land on this particular design. It's more of a modern update to some of the facade in exteriors, but a lot of the building principles and other will be very traditional. Will not have the flat roof like you'd expect in like a Lawrenceville type of home. This will have a very traditional roof to stay in line with the neighborhood aesthetics. Next slide. Some of the materials we're going to use, we don't really have to spend a lot of time on this, but these materials will definitely be built to last in the home and be low cost of ownership and maintenance. So next slide. The floor plan, again, 3 bedroom, 3 bath, about 15 to about 7,500 square feet of space, and rear access to the yard, rear decks off of the kitchen, a lot of modern appointments as well. Next slide. Again, front yard parking pads for each individual home, open interior deck off of the kitchen, and again, a lot of modern appointments we will be sourcing throughout the process. Next slide. You can go to the next one as well. This is all interior stuff. We can't get in that. Exterior will be very traditional. We will have privacy fences up so that each resident will have a bit of privacy while they're out on their exterior deck as well. Next slide. Some of the development principles. I can't really see the slide that well. Felicity, hold on one second. Some of the development principles that we are leveraging here for this project are, again, the key tenet for this project is home ownership. We're doing a development without displacement. We're building upon the cultural legacy. This is a very walkable project right down to Center Avenue, which again is less than a 2-block walk, creating a ton of jobs on the trade side of things. We're going to activate a lot of public transport given the proximity of where this project resides as well. Next slide. And how do we get there? How do we get to the home ownership piece of this? As I mentioned earlier, we're going to partner with the Hill CDC in their initiative, the HD 100. We've already created flyers and have sent them out through the URA to use in their social media campaigns to help start to socialize this project, but also working with a number of the community partners that are native to the Hill District as well to help source residents for this particular project. Next slide. How do we get there in terms of our MBE inclusion strategy? Again, my business is an MBE, but we will be working through our contractor to hire many trades locally from the Hill District to participate in this at all levels. I do know we have already been in conversations with Emerald Electric. I do think one of our suppliers that we reached out to back in April should be preparing a bid. I think they're on this call as well, Reed Supply. And we're also going to be working with, I think, L.E. Smith and Company on interior fit and finishes as well. And they're also a WBE company as well. But this slide really highlights how we plan to achieve not only the standard, but exceed that MBE participation inclusion strategy. Next slide. Again, here was just a quick flyer that we leveraged. This is going to be also circulated through the Hill CDC. As you can see, their logo is attached to this. A few months ago, I spoke with Felicity and her team regarding the MBE maximization efforts. So we will be participating in that process as well to make sure MBEs and WBEs are attracted to this project and can have a significant portion of a number of the options that are available. And this project does include prevailing wages as well. So there will be a nice wage for those trades who may not be able to get a larger portion of the contract, but maybe smaller individual contracts. Next slide. Kind of our timeline with how our funding process is winding up. This may slide a little bit into the fall of 2022, but we're looking to start development as soon as our capital stack finalizes, and look to be pretty much fully open and ready to move in tenants between July and September of 2022. Then lastly, just a quick look at the development team and the community engagement that we have performed. We've met with a number of organizations, including the Hill CDC on this particular project. And again, our nonprofit development partner, Pittsburgh Housing Development Corporation as well, has participated in a number of options or opportunities associated with this project as well. And next slide, before we get to the Q&A, just a quick financial overview. This is about a $2.6 to about $2.7 million project that has a number of grants and subsidies attached to it. However, 80 to about 85% of this is privately financed. So there is a hefty private debt associated with this. But with the help of the PHDC, the URA, and a number of other partners such as PA, Department of Economic, DCED, excuse me, Department of Economic Development, Economic and Community Development, we've been able to help subsidize a lot of those costs to help get these units into a price point, at least the affordable units into a price point that will be consumable by those current or existing residents that meet or fall below the 80% AMI. Again, with prevailing wages and a number of other things associated with this, the financial constraints are very tight on this project, but we are committed to making this project a success and keeping the affordability existed in the project throughout its lifetime. Next slide.
And that's it.
So.
All right, Stefan.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I thought it was someone else getting ready to talk. It's all right. No worries. Okay, so we're going to launch into our Q&A.
Sure.
We have three questions already in the chat. So I'm going to start with the first two and they are actually related. So I'm going to do them together. They pretty much ask the same thing. So we have from Geraldine and Chef Claudie, who both want to know what is the sales price for the market rate units and the affordable units. And then secondarily, what's the proposed dates of occupation?
Sure, sure. So to answer that first question, the proposed sales price for all 6 units will be between 350 and about 375,000. However, with the amount of subsidy that we are bringing into the project for the 2 affordable units, we will likely list those at less than $200,000. I think the requirement from the URA attached to this project is that those homes are not sold for over $180,000. So with that, there's a significant construction debt versus sales debt that the subsidy through second deferred mortgages and other programs that we are enlisting to bring that cost down to be affordable to those residents that meet that criteria. And again, we'll be working with again, the number of local initiatives to make sure that the residents are well educated on how to be homeowners if they have never owned a home before, and tie into a number of resources that are leveraged through the Housing Authority of the City of Pittsburgh and other that will support this project in terms of subsidy to make sure those units remain affordable for their lifetime. But the market rate units, we're coming in at about 350 to about 375, and that's really truly adjusting to the construction costs, construction materials costs that we are all encumbered by, given the nature of the pandemic that we all experienced back in 2020 from a supply and demand perspective.
Just add a little bit to that. So for Stefan mentioned the tools that we use to help bring that price down for the affordable units. A couple of those are the deferred second and deferred third mortgages that are possible for these, which is up to $50,000 from the URA and another up to $40,000 from a new URA program, OPGH. So with those two layered on, as well as up to $7,500 in down payment and closing cost assistance for first-time home buyers from the URA as well. You layer those things in on top of our RA subsidized price, and you're looking at monthly payments with taxes, real estate taxes and fees included, the high 700s per month or low 800s, depending on the interest rate that the buyer gets. So, to get a 3-bedroom brand new house for that price range is kind of unheard of. So we're hoping that we are able to essentially provide a brand new home where that's energy efficient. It's going to have low maintenance costs. All the products are brand new in it, so there won't be any maintenance for a good period after purchase for less money than it costs to rent a 3-bedroom in other parts of the Hill District and other parts of the city.
All right, thank you, Justin. Okay, next we have Kimberly. Let me read this here. Why do you think it's so important to provide market rate housing in the Hill? What is the significance for providing 4 luxury homes and 2 affordable homes? Why is it important that you are not displacing people now, even though you are aware that Hill residents were displaced and the neighborhood has seen huge neglect over the years? And then lastly, is this a union signatory project? So a lot there, but.
Okay, so I'll break those down. So I think the first one was, why do you think it's so important to provide market rate housing in the Hill District? I think it's important in any economically viable neighborhood anywhere to have a diversity of housing options. It's not just a matter of it being market rate housing, but a diversity of housing options to be able to not only attract investment to that area, but support a number of local commercial businesses in that area of significance. So this project was not created to be the silver bullet for all of the challenges around affordability and other that the city has a natural shortage on. This project was really meant to be one of the many help to support one of the many catalytic opportunities that are happening there. So again, we're not trying to be the silver bullet. We're just trying to provide diverse housing options to be able to attract African-American professionals who may want to be in the Hill District and may have a significant income that prices them out of affordable housing, and they maybe want to be in new construction housing. It may be for residents who currently live in the Hill and want to upgrade their housing situation. They may have outgrown their housing situation and would like to upgrade, and this is a viable option for them. Next question is, what is the significance of providing luxury homes and two affordable homes? I wouldn't characterize these as luxury homes. I would characterize these as high quality homes that are being brought to the neighborhood to, again, provide those diverse housing options to people of all walks and all backgrounds and all economic and income levels currently in the Hill, and residents who may want to come to the Hill. Not to disclose any particular names of current Hill District residents, but this project has been socialized a number of times, and current residents are waiting for this. Some current residents are waiting for this project to launch so that they can buy into an opportunity like this. So this is not a luxury Lawrenceville or Shadyside type of opportunity. This is really an opportunity to provide those diverse housing options to many people that may want that option to have high quality homes and still be in the Hill District. And then the last question, it says,
Union signatory.
Nope, it's the one before that.
Okay.
Why is it important that you are not displacing people now? And you are aware that the Hill residents were displaced. We are not displacing, and by that I'm significantly meaning this is vacant parcels. There was nothing on this land. We're creating an opportunity from nothing. So there's no displacement happening here. We're actually attracting people, attracting residents, current or new, to the area. So we don't see this as having a negative impact. We see this as a way to add value to the neighborhood by providing options for a number of different resources to the area, and removing, quite frankly, the blight of a vacant parcel that has sat vacant for well over a decade, and adding some quality housing for the residents, and making things more accessible. And the last part, is this a union signatory project? Not totally up to on all my union laws here, but the project will have prevailing wages associated with it. We have not signed on to any union participation. My general contractor, Medco Commercial Group, who is a partner with the Pittsburgh Housing Development Corporation, would be handling any of those contracts, and would then advise me as the project owner and developer as to the direction that it would go in if this was a union type of project. But there are prevailing wages attached to this project, and we're going to abide by those by the state of Pennsylvania.
All righty, thank you, Stefan. We have a couple more questions here in the chat. So next in line is Bess Herndon. She asked, is this going to raise the taxes on the surrounding Rose Street homeowners? This is not going to help us.
I'm no economics professor here, and I won't go into debate about property taxes and other. I think there are a number of things that affect overall property values. Even adding in these affordable homes at this number will affect property values. Not even taking into consideration the market rate, but given the proximity to the city center, the nature of just pure supply and demand, and just nearby attractions, property values will over time increase. Bringing additional investment into the area by providing this diverse housing opportunity and attracting additional capital to this area will make property values increase over time. This one specific project will not be the sole tenant to increase property values in the area. There are too many factors in play here that cause or can help to, or not help, but be a part of property values increasing. So outside of where you're located, generally in proximity to the city center, over time will cause property values to increase. And again, as new tenants are attracted to Center Avenue with all of the redevelopment happening there, property values as a whole, not just on Rose and Elmore Street, but as a whole in the surrounding areas, will begin to increase. I don't have the crystal ball on what that number looks like 5, 10, 15 years from now. Interest rate and economics play a part in all of that. But there are many other factors that that actually are taken into consideration by the economics folks that will be determining, what the property values need to be for this area. I think, adding in a new construction housing opportunity, if anything, it enhances the overall tax revenues for the city. It improves, we're developing on land that was vacant. So from a tax perspective, this is helping helping from a rising tide perspective for the entire area. So again, I don't have the crystal ball on what that looks like, but there are just too many other determining factors as to whether or not property values will increase over time.
Thank you, Stefan. Oh, go ahead, Justin.
Hey, yeah, I'll just say that, so whenever a real estate appraiser determines value of a property, they use comparables of similar properties around that have sold within the past year and that are within a certain distance of this project. So the existing homes won't necessarily see an increase in property tax because of the sale of these properties, since the existing homes are not going through sales themselves. Also, these are new construction, so they're different. They're not necessarily in the same comparables category as existing housing in the area. So I would say that there's a very small chance that the construction of this would have a direct effect on the assessed value of the neighboring existing properties in any foreseeable short time future.
And also, just to piggyback off of that last point as well, we are on schedule to talk with the Allegheny County Tax Assessor's Office so that when these homes are appraised, the affordable homes are not going to be appraised at market value. They're going to be appraised at the affordable value. So there will be a different standard for what the affordable homes are going to be appraised as and assessed as versus the market rate homes.
Alrighty, thank you, Stefan.
Mm-hmm.
We have another next question here in the chat from Geraldine. Where do we sign up to see if we're qualified for affordable?
I think through.
Actually, can probably answer that. Go ahead.
I'm sorry?
I can actually probably answer where you.
Yeah, I was going to literally point them to your initiatives. I was just going to say, working through HD 100 and other initiatives will take you through that process to understand where you fit for this.
Yes.
And let me be very clear. These homes will be marketed first and foremost to the Hill District residents. This will not be opened up to the MLS until months later into the process. So the Hill District residents will have more than enough time to prepare and be ready to participate in this home ownership opportunity.
I was going to say Geraldine, and this is for anybody, if you wanted to look at any housing, whether it's for sale, it's rental, if it is income restricted, meaning there is an area median income or AMI requirement or restriction on the property, you can actually look up to see whether you qualify yourself. I unfortunately don't have it in front of me. I'm not sure, Marimba, if anyone else on our team, maybe Michelle or Ray, if they're still on the call, they have it. But these particular units are at 80% AMI. You can look up, that's a distinction that's set by HUD. It's based on not just Pittsburgh, but a little bit beyond. It's beyond like the greater Pittsburgh region, let's call it. And they will tell you if it's a 1 person, 2 person, 3 persons, 4 persons, what the income levels are to determine whether you qualify. Now that's just determined if you qualify or are considered affordable for these units. To Stefan's point, one of the things he is doing is working with our Hill District 100 initiative, which, we rehab homes and we also market homes that are for sale on the market, and we will be marketing Stefan's properties as well. So you can sign up for our Hill District 100, www.hilldistrict.org/Hill District 100. I'm actually going to put that in the chat here 1 second. That way, once Stefan and his team are ready to start receiving interest in the properties, you will get notification that they are ready to do so. But I wanted to add the point that you can look up whether you qualify at that 80% AMI level. And Marimba, I think, or someone dropped, Ose dropped it in the chat here. I'm sorry, Ose, you sent it only to me though. Let me.
I sent it to everyone, Felicity. If you click on the link in the chat, you can pull up the AMI chart for Allegheny County, well, for the surrounding area.
Okay, alrighty, thank you. I want you guys to have that in the chat so you can check if you meet that 80% you qualify. Just wanted to give those two components. Go ahead, Justin. I feel like you wanted to add something.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that we also define affordability as a household not spending more than 30% of their net monthly income on housing. So the numbers you see there is for a yearly income, divide that by 12 and then by another 3. And that is what the monthly rents or monthly mortgages will not exceed.
Thank you, Justin.
Justin, I have a quick question, just a clarifying question. This is more of a community development question. You said that, so is that in combination with the existing AMI chart, or is that a whole separate calculation?
For that affordability rate?
Mm-hmm.
That is, it's what the sales prices are based off of. That's how we determine the sales prices based upon the current year's AMI. So that's kind of the formula of working from that AMI number to getting towards a sales price.
Right, I was trying to get that calculation, the equation that you just gave. I was just wondering, do you all use that independent of the AMI chart to determine an affordable buyer?
We use it in tandem with
always in tandem with?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Got it. Thank you.
Yep. No problem.
All right. We have our next question here from Ikihana. The displacement happened decades ago. Prior to gentrification, how many homes sold in the Lower Hill for $350,000? Just who are you trying to attract to the Hill District? Economics and property taxes increase for the neighbors in the area. So what happens to those who were there before these homes were built? Sounds like you could care less, respectfully. My grandmother is currently a lifelong resident of the Hill and cannot afford a home at this market rate. She, above many, deserved an affordable option.
So I'll speak to the attraction level. This is for this project is geared to African Americans and African American professionals who can afford this opportunity. This is not, again, this is a small site. We were talking 6 homes. The project site does not allow for a largely dense project opportunity to provide 10 to 15 home sites to really work the entire scale of the income levels. This is truly a way to attract new income opportunities to the Hill District and or those who are current Hill District residents who can possibly afford this. There are Hill District residents who can afford this. I don't want that to just be glazed over. There are Hill District residents who can afford this. And so this is an opportunity to those current residents or new residents who are African American professionals who want to live in the Hill District. As I mentioned in the opening, when I moved to Pittsburgh as an African American professional working at Highmark, I did not see an opportunity for me to move into an area like the Hill District. Why? Because that opportunity didn't exist at the time. And again, this was 2009, 2010. So now, providing this type of opportunity speaks to many of the professionals who look just like me and have different backgrounds or different professions and different walks of life, but have the economic means to be able to want to be able to provide new construction options for them and their families, or new college graduates who are pursuing opportunities in downtown Pittsburgh who have a substantial income and want to be close to the thread of the African American epicenter as well as their opportunities downtown. This site is meant to cast as a best of a net to capture those differing levels as best as possible. Again, in support of a number of the other opportunities happening there. This project was not geared to displace or upset the apple cart in terms of economic opportunities. This is just to provide diverse opportunities for many professionals who know the Hill and want to participate in this opportunity.
All right, let me keep scrolling here. I did want to just make sure that everyone was aware, just clarifying the process, and as Stefan and Justin are well aware of this, as are most of you all. The Hill CDC works with almost all developments in the neighborhood, at least those that will work with us. And it takes a partnership and a collaboration to implement the Greater Hill District Master Plan. And as such, we have initiatives in place, which we regularly engage in conversations with developers about, like Stefan mentioned, our MBE maximization initiative, our Hill District 100 initiative. However, as they are well aware, they know that we do not take a position of support on a project until you all, the community, has supported that project by completing the DRP process. That's what makes it, again, the democratic process that we all love and embrace so much. So just want to say that even though we work with a lot of folks, again, it's really you all's voice as the community and the DRP process as well. Any other questions or comments? We are past our 15 minutes, but again, I like to give everybody an opportunity to present as well.
Well, I'll hedge here a bit and I think answer the zoning question that will likely come up before we conclude this session.
Yes, Stefan, I'm so sorry. That was me dropping the ball. I should have said why you are seeking RCO, development activities meeting, what you have coming up.
Yeah, sure. So we are seeking approval for exterior side setback, front setback to accommodate front parking pads on the homes, and minimum lot size because we are looking to subdivide one of the lots to accommodate a sixth home being built.
All right. Thank you, Stefan.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you, Thomas. Tom, sorry, you came through and I was reading your name. Thank you for appreciating and respecting the development review panel process. I want to thank everybody that presented tonight for appreciating and respecting the development review panel process. As Stefan mentioned, they have received and implemented input and feedback that they have received, as have all of the projects tonight. So happy to continue to work with people to implement the goals of the master plan for the Hill District community. Now, do want to remind everybody of a couple things. One, to always continue to be social with the Hill CDC. You can do that by going to hilldistrict.org/sign up to join our email list of over 2,000 residents and stakeholders. If you weren't aware, we have now what's called the Weekend Roundup, and it is a weekly newsletter that we send out every weekend that lets folks know about all sorts of activities that are happening in the neighborhood, developments, updates, you name it, you get it, and you can read it and scroll while you're drinking your coffee in the morning or tea and eating breakfast. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter at My Hill District. And you can also follow us on LinkedIn. As always, this presentation will be uploaded to our Facebook page by at least the beginning of next week. Again, I want to put in the chat to go to hilldistrict.org/score. So www, I'm going to say this slow, hilldistrict.org/score. To please submit, I'm sorry, I didn't send that to everyone, my apologies. To please submit the scorecard for all three of these projects. Again, you will see 3 separate sections on that scorecard where you will score these projects on a scale of 1 to 5. There will also be a section below that for you to leave written comment that will be shared with the development team as well. So this is really important. This is your opportunity for your voice to be heard. So please do so. We'd like to thank you all for attending tonight. Let me close down the presentation here. Sorry, stop share. And when you log into that scorecard, you will see that it asks you, did you attend the presentation tonight? Are you a Hill District resident? You'll be asked to put in an address just to verify that you're a Hill District resident. We're not going to share your address with anybody. As well, again, much like our normal community meetings, we operate on good faith. We hope that everybody is honest. We know our community is. And as we've always done, we meet in person. So thank you all for attending tonight. We look forward to seeing you all at future community meetings, and be on the lookout for joining our email list, hilldistrict.org/sign up, and getting this weekend's weekend roundup. Thank you, everybody, and have a good night.